What's going on, guys? The CTA Prime back here again. Today I'm going to be doing a quick review on the Rec Room Masters 32-inch Pro upright Xtension arcade machine. This is the Emulator edition. You're definitely going to need some extra room in your house if you want to get a hold of one of these. It's 36.5 inches wide, 27 inches deep, and 69.5 inches tall. And fully assembled, it's around 200 pounds. That's not including the monitor I added and the computer. As you can see, this thing is absolutely massive compared to these 3/4 size cabinets. On the far left, I have an Arcade 1-Up Rampage edition that I've skinned with the Simpsons vinyl. Then we have the Game Room Solutions Level Up cab, the Alphacade by Rec Room Masters, the same guys who make this big cab here, and then another Arcade 1-Up Street Fighter edition. So this thing absolutely dwarfs these 3/4 style cabinets. The assembly process went really smooth. It took me about an hour and a half while I was watching Family Guy. It comes with full instructions, plus you can get on their YouTube channel and check out their full build guide there. If you buy the kit that comes with the Xtension control panel, you're going to get 4 boxes shipped to you. And make sure you have room for this trash because there is so much of this green bubble wrap inside of here. You're going to fill up 4 trash bags with just the bubble wrap. Moving over to pricing, they retail with the Xtension controller for $949 plus shipping. So to get this to me with the Xtension controller, got the trackball Emulator edition, it was $1,145. On top of that, you're going to have to add your own 32-inch monitor or TV. I paid $99 for mine. I'm using a Smart Fire TV in here. Plus, you're going to have to add a PC or a Raspberry Pi. Personally, I would not go with a Raspberry Pi inside of here. I'll show you what I got by the end of this video. These do come with real hap buttons, hap sticks, and an Ultimark encoder. And I do want to get this out of the way before we go any further. If you can build your own, that's totally fine. I personally can't cut a piece of wood straight, and I know there's a lot of people out there that don't have the tools or know how to do it, just like myself. Instead of dealing with the hassle, I purchased a kit that I could put together in a few hours and have it up and running. If you watch my channel, you know I do a lot of retro gaming, and this is something I've always wanted. So for my front end of choice here, I'm running big box. This is running from an x86 PC. It's actually a 2200G AMD Ryzen CPU in here. I'll show you all that by the end. For this video, I did remove the plexiglass panel because trying to film this with a camera just gives off a lot of glare with my white walls, but to the naked eye, it's not bad. It is something that I want to change down the road. I'd like to put a real glass panel in here and it'd be easy enough to do. The display I'm using in here is a 720p 32-inch Insignia Fire television. They were on sale for $99. I recently did a review on it and it works fine in this unit. The cabinet does come with spots for 3.5-inch speakers, but right now I'm just using the speakers that are built into the television, and even with the plexiglass panel on the front, it still sounds really good. I'll probably add some nice speakers later on down the road, but for now, works fine like it is. The Xtension control panel uses an Ultimark mini pack encoder. It does show up as keyboards inside of Windows and it works fine with most applications. There is firmware where you can turn it into 2 separate controllers, and I would recommend that if you want to use this with a Raspberry Pi. The trackball system on this unit works great in MAME. I personally haven't set up any games here in this system, but I have tested on the Raspberry Pi in the past. I've had no issues with it whatsoever. I got everything I need on this system. It'll do Dreamcast, Naomi, Atomic Wave, it'll do GameCube, some PS2 games will work on here, but for the most part, I'm going to be using MAME. Got some Cave stuff here, and having a big screen for Cave games is absolutely amazing. Something I would like to add down the road is a light gun for this system. Now I do have a bunch of light gun games here, but I don't have any way to use them. I could use the Wiimote method that I showed you guys in a previous video, or I could use the trackball, but I think I'm going to get a nice light gun to set up on the side of this thing. Just make the whole experience much better. I've also added a real coin mechanism from X Gaming to this system here, so I can put in real quarters and it'll insert coins, or I can use the button up top, and I'll show you that in just a second. But right now, we're going to get into a little bit of gameplay. Love me some beat 'em ups. Altered Beast, one of my favorite games of all time. We're going to get into it. Recently, Big Box added the startup and shutdown screens, plus I've installed the bezel project. So for most of these main games, I will have bezels on the side. It'll help fill the screen. I think it looks really good in this cab. So I can use the coin button up top, or I can put in real quarters. I also have a coin button for the second player. These real hat buttons are great, especially paired with that Ultimark encoder, but I do want to add RGB buttons to this unit. Now, every single game that I start up, it'll give me a color scheme on the RGB. Not a big fan of my PC, but I think it would look great on here. To exit a game, just press the exit button. I also have a hotkey set up so I can change the sound in Windows, so I can turn it up and down from the controller panel itself. The hardest part about this cabinet is finding something to play. There's just so many games that it's really hard to choose. I've never played duels, so we're going to get right in here. Not sure if it's going to have a bezel, and yeah, it does. Pretty cool. I've done videos on the bezel project. If you guys are interested, just do a quick Google search for it. So yeah, I'm definitely going to get destroyed here. I'm going to go ahead and exit this game. Now, one of the cool things about this Xtension control panel is I don't need a mouse and keyboard connected to the PC I have in here. Now, I'm running Windows 10. I'm going to back out of Big Box. And by the way, I do have it set up so Big Box automatically starts when this PC does. But if I ever need to back out into Windows 10 and do something, I have a left and a right mouse click, and the trackball works as the mouse. So let's go ahead and take a look at that coin mechanism in action. I heard you guys like vertical videos. I just wired up the coin mechanism so it works as a coin button. When I insert a coin, it's going to insert it inside a main for me. Then I can start a game. This is an X Gaming coin mechanism. They're the guys who make the tank stick, and it comes with all the wiring you need. It's really easy to set up. I actually did a video on showing you how to set this up on a Raspberry Pi. This cabinet does have a front panel on it. It's got these little magnet clips on it. We could put a keyboard and mouse here if you feel like you need one down the road. I'll probably add something, but I got my coin mech keys here in case I need to do any repairs from the front or just grab my coins out. Like I mentioned, this coin mechanism does not come with the cabinet. You'll have to buy something like this separately. There's not much going on around back here. I mean, I do have an extra HDMI cable that I ran from the television before I installed everything, just in case I want a PS4 or something in here. Got my power supply with everything plugged in, the LED marquee, TV, and the coin mechanism LEDs. And to power this whole unit, I'm using a little ASRock A300W. This is a Ryzen powered mini PC. Comes as a bare bones unit. You will have to add your own RAM and CPU. Right now I'm using a Ryzen 2200G with 8 gigabytes of RAM. I also have a 240 gigabyte SSD to run Windows from and a 1 terabyte hard drive to run all of my games from. And like you saw, I'm using Launchbox as my front end, and I didn't have any other metal containers to catch those coins because I wanted that noise. So I'm just using a little thermos type cup here that my wife had in the cabinet. So overall, the build quality on this thing is amazing. I absolutely love it. And going from a 3/4 style cab to this full size is a totally different world. I don't know if I can go back to these smaller cabs. I might have to put these in the kids' room. This thing's super sturdy. It's got those real hat buttons, so they'll last forever as long as this isn't in a bar being played 24/7. One thing I noticed is the cabinet is a fingerprint magnet. I mean, no matter where you touch it, you're going to leave fingerprints on it. Now, there are third-party companies that offer vinyl skins for these, and that's something I've been thinking about doing, but I'm going to have to wait a little while on that. I do have a couple more things that I want to do with this machine, and I'll probably make videos on all of those. I want to do RGB buttons on the control panel, and the main thing I want to do is add an LCD marquee up top. Launchbox and Big Box has the ability to display a digital marquee, so if I got a bus monitor, they're a thin monitor, it should fit right up top here. When I start a game, it will display the correct marquee up top for whichever game I'm playing. That's something I've always wanted to do, so expect a video on that coming up in the next couple of weeks. So that's pretty much it for this video, guys. I really appreciate you watching. Yes, I understand that this thing is expensive, but this is my hobby. I used to have other hobbies like building cars or RC cars, but I do retro gaming now, and I've always wanted a full-size cab, so I figured I'd go ahead and get one now while I have the room. All links for everything I mentioned will be in the description. If you have any questions about this cabinet or other cabinets, let me know in the comments below, and I'll try my hardest to get back to you. It'd be really awesome if you could hit that like button, maybe subscribe to the channel, but like always, thanks for watching.